Okay, we are welcoming Julie to our extreme team call right now, and I look up to her as a mentor. And she's a. Are you above a 15-star diamond coach, or I know you're a 15-star diamond?
Yeah. Well, that's if you're going to talk about like all that kind of stuff, the most important pieces that you can talk about is I've been married 23 years and we have 3 daughters. My husband's a football coach, and I happen to be a Beachbody coach too. Those are the most important. After that, it really doesn't matter.
Yes, amen. I love it.
So you want me just to kind of chat a little bit?
Yeah.
Okay, and since we're smaller, I think it will be great. And if your team sent you questions as well, anyone that has some questions, I think would be really good. I work better off a template. So if you have questions, sometimes that'll lead into some other points of discussion. And what I found too is when folks have a question, generally someone else on the team has that same question. No questions are, generally that unique or different, especially because I've been doing this business now 8 years. So there aren't very many questions that I haven't heard. And generally, if you're asking them, that means someone else on the team has that very same question. So, we can address any and all of those as we get into this too. And Christy, stop me at any point. If you think of something that you'd like to elaborate on for your team that you find to be kind of a pain point for your team, then we can stop and chat about that a little bit. I'll just give you some context on my background, kind of where I got to where I am at this point in business, because as I said, I have been a coach for 8 years. I live in Indiana, and if I could turn my computer around, you would see that it's kind of a gray, gloomy day here in Carmel, Indiana, unfortunately. But it is bright and hot in Team Beachbody because we are certainly on fire now. This business has grown so much in the 8 years that I have been a part of it. It's seriously, it's mind-blowing when I think about it, because when I started, I think the network was about a year old, and we had P90X, we had Turbo Jam, which is how I got into the business, and I'll share that with you in a little bit. We had P90X, we had Turbo Jam, we had Slim and Six, and we had Yoga Booty Ballet, and that was about all we had. There was no 21-day fix. There was no Insanity. Insanity came a little bit later, so we did have Hip Hop Abs. We didn't have Insanity. We had no Shakeology. We had no anything. So that gives you some context as to kind of how long I've been in the business. But, other than that, you're probably thinking, why am I on this call? Why am I listening to this girl who's in the middle of Indiana, right outside Indianapolis, on a gray, gloomy day at noon on a random Tuesday? And if you are on this call, whether you're on it live or you're listening to it later recorded, you have made a decision that you want to make this business an integral, important part of your life. You want to use this business as a driver, as a vehicle to do some great stuff in your life. If you hadn't made that decision, you would not be on this call. Whether it's live or recorded, you wouldn't take the time to be on this call. And, I say that to my team a lot of times too, because our team calls are at night. And I think there's a lot of other activities that you could be doing at night and even right now during the day, that you have made the intentional decision to be on this call at this particular time on this day, because you've made the decision that this business is going to be a vehicle in your life to do something great. And if you've made that decision, kudos to you, because if you are on this call, I believe that you have made that decision. And so everything else that happens in your business, every other decision that you make really stems from that. You have decided this is going to be something in your life that matters. You have decided this business is going to help you reach goals and dreams that you couldn't reach without it. And if you haven't decided that, you wouldn't be on this call right now. So I'm going to move forward with the assumption that that's where you are in your headspace, that you have decided this business is your jam, you love it, and you want to use it to help others and change your own life as well. And that's really the coolest part about this business, is it is so much about other people and what we do for other people. And sometimes without even being aware of it, we're changing ourselves too from the inside out. We talk a lot about I'm this rank or I'm that rank or I'm this or I'm that. And it really has nothing to do with and it has everything to do with what's going on with our team and what we're doing for others. And as we're helping others, as we're connecting them with a solution that works, because we have so many solutions that work, we get to change our own lives as well. And I think that's the coolest part about this business. And I also think it's really what makes our business so, so unique. You know, I had a meeting last week in Starbucks with one of my coaches, and we were chatting about some other things. And there was two men, and, you know, this could be completely out of context, but I just thought it was so interesting. The comment that I overheard I thought was so interesting, because there was two men talking. They were in suits, and they, you know, met in Starbucks to have coffee or something, middle of the morning. When they got up to leave, one of the guys said to the other, he's like, all right, let's go make some money. And I thought, like, we would never say that, even though I'm a big fan of money. I like it a lot. I like it a lot because I get to do a lot of really cool things with it with my family. But if it was a meeting with Beachbody coaches, we would have said, okay, let's go change some lives. Like, that just would have been what we said. We would never have said, let's go make some money. But make no mistake, it's really cool that we get to make a lot of money while we change a lot of lives, because you know what I get to do with the money that I make? I get to provide a really amazing life for my children. My husband and I get to do some really cool stuff that we would not have been able to do. I get to write a big check to my church. I get to donate to my favorite charities. And none of that would happen without this business. None. Because 8 years ago, we couldn't pay our bills. 8 years ago, we couldn't get to the end of the month. And that stinks. And I remember every single day what that feels like. And also, make no mistake, we don't have a lot at the end of the month now, because I have 3 girls and they're in college and they've got expensive activities, and there's still not a lot left over, but we can provide for them now in ways that we never would have been able to had it not been for this business in our life. So the money is the byproduct. It's an amazing byproduct. It's an amazing byproduct that lets us help even more people. But if it was a meeting of Beachbody coaches, we would never have said, let's go make some money. We would have said, let's go change some lives. And I think that's pretty cool. I kind of fell into fitness. To give you a little background on my story, I kind of fell into fitness. I certainly did not grow up thinking that I wanted to be a Beachbody coach or even a fitness instructor. I was a high school English teacher. And my husband and I got married and started a family. And he is a football coach and has always been. And I was a high school English teacher. And while we chose professions that rewarded us in a lot of ways, those ways were not financial. And we certainly struggled. We struggled to the point where we had to ask my in-laws for a loan. And that is not a good feeling. It's not a good feeling to have to ask for a loan in any regard, but it's not a good feeling when you have to ask your family for a loan, because especially with in-laws like that never really goes away. Just never goes away. And that was kind of a low point in our life. But yeah, we really didn't have any, there were no options. You know, what else were we going to do? I had gone to college to be a teacher. He had gone to college and has 2 master's degrees to be a football coach. And this is what he did. This is what we did. You know, how was there going to be more money? Because in those kinds of professions, as in most of corporate America, you're not in control of your salary, really. You know, doesn't matter how much harder you work. It didn't matter how many championships he won. That was a salary. It didn't matter how many A's my students got. This was my salary. So we were struggling, but we really had no idea what our way out was. And because of my husband's job, we did tend to move quite a bit. And that's just the nature of football coaching. And when we moved to Pennsylvania, we moved to a place where we knew absolutely no one, which is normally the case. And I got pregnant with baby number 3, and that was kind of how we were completing our family. We wanted 3 children, and we decided that I would stay home that year. So we went from really not making anything to making even less than anything. And we decided I would stay home that year, and we would save and kind of see how it went. And we were there in Pennsylvania for a year. I joined a YMCA when we were there so that the girls could do some activities. My 2 older girls could do some activities. And when we left Pennsylvania after a year, we moved to Waukesha, Wisconsin. So I had this newborn baby, because Jesse was born in the midst of our move. I had a middle one who was starting preschool, and I had an oldest one who was starting kindergarten. And we were in a town, again, where I knew no one, and my husband was starting his first head coaching job. So because we had joined a Y in Pennsylvania, I transferred our membership to the Y in Waukesha, Wisconsin, the Waukesha Family YMCA. So now I'm a year out of high school teaching. I've got 3 kids, and I'm a little bit like, this is a whole new world for me. I'm not really sure what to do. I'm trying to find some structure in our day. And as you all know, every time you have another child, your structure, your routine, everything kind of changes. So I'd gone from 2 to now 3, and I've got a baby in this new town where I don't know anyone, and I've got to figure this out. So we joined the Y because the Y had been such a lifesaver for us in Pennsylvania. I joined the Y. We had some other, pretty traumatic events that happened in our life, aside from the cool stuff with a new baby and kids starting school and my husband having his first head coaching job, and my father had passed away right in the middle of all of that. And then we also lost our dog, which seems minute, but it was like just compounded all these things. And so I joined the Y, and all I could think every day was if I could just get up and go work out and go to that 9:30 a.m. class every day, Monday through Friday, drop Jenna off at kindergarten, get Josie to preschool, take the baby with me, and make that 9:30 a.m. class. If I could do that 1 hour every single day, the rest of it would probably fall into place. And I had always been the person who couldn't really sit still. I mean, you'll notice that, like, I'm not sitting now when I'm talking, I'm standing. I have a standing desk. I don't sit still very well. So, working out had always kind of been a part of my life. And it took on a greater role in that period of my life, because if I could just get to the Y, and I could just do that 9:30 class, whatever it was, step aerobics, kickboxing, it didn't matter what it was. If I could just do that, I knew that I would be better off the rest of the day. And that's where, even though I couldn't articulate it, that was where I started to understand the real connection between fitness and life. And what we do in our workouts really is what we can do in our life, and how much better I felt after a workout, how much more organized and structured and just efficient and productive and calm, all of that, especially dealing with, a newborn baby. About 3 months after taking classes, so we joined there in August. So in November, I was sitting on a blue bench in the lobby of the YMCA, and Jenna, I think, was probably at swim lessons or gymnastics or something, and I was sitting there waiting for her to come down the stairs, and the group exercise director, Mary, sat down next to me, and she said 2 sentences. "I've seen you in class. I think you should be teaching. I want you to start in January." That's it. That's what she said to me, with not a whole lot of, I'm sure, forethought, and not a whole lot of, not worried if I was going to say no or any of that. Just sat down next to me and had that conversation. "I've seen you in class. I think you should be teaching. I want you to start in January." And it was just that simple. And that one conversation, those few sentences on that blue bench, the Waukesha Family YMCA lobby, that one conversation changed the course of the rest of my life. Completely changed the course of the rest of my life. So I want you to think about that as we move forward. I want you to think about that every day, and maybe write it on a Post-it note and stick it on your computer or somewhere where you will see it every day. One conversation. One conversation with me changed the course of my life. I would not have been in fitness. I would not be a master trainer. I would not have met Chalene Johnson. I would not be a Beachbody coach. I would not have my team. None of that domino effect would have happened had Mary not sat down next to me on that blue bench and had one conversation. So think about that, and think about conversations that you have had, because someone had one with you, which is why you're here. And is your life different? And by different, I mean better, because of that one conversation, because mine is, and she had no idea. She had no idea the domino effect that one conversation was going to have. But my life is infinitely better because of that one conversation. Yours has to be too, because of a conversation that brought you here. Otherwise, you would not be on a call listening to this if it wasn't. And think about how many conversations you haven't had because you're afraid of what they're going to say. You're afraid they're going to tell you no. You're afraid you won't get the wording right. You're just afraid. How many conversations have you not had because of that? I guarantee you that when Mary sat down next to me, she did not think out or plan out what she was going to say, nor was she too concerned if I was going to say no. She simply thought, you know what, I've seen her in class. I think she'd be a good instructor. I'm just going to invite her. Just like that. What if we do that when we talk to people? You know what, I see you around. I love your energy. I'd love to have you on my team. You should start with me. You should join my team today. What if we just did that? What if it was just that easy, just that simple? What if we stopped getting in our own way, stopped being afraid, and just simply said, I think you're awesome. I'd love to have your energy on my team. You should join my team. Because, I certainly had questions for Mary, And I certainly went home and talked to my husband about it, who then said, well, it's a no-brainer because you like to teach and you like fitness. Why are you not putting them together? And also we get a free membership at the Y if you teach. So it's a no-brainer. But there wasn't a whole lot of thought or intention on Mary's part. She simply saw something in me and put it out there. If I would have said no, would she have run screaming out of the Y and said, I'm done. I can no longer teach here at the Y? No, she would have said, oh, that's too bad. Okay. And she would have moved on to someone else that she also saw potential in her classes. She just would have moved on to the next person. Thankfully, I said yes. I'm so glad I did because, as I said, it changed the course of the rest of my life. So I started teaching classes, and if any of you are group exercise instructors, you know that sometimes you start with 1 and multiplies to 2 and multiplies to 3 and so and so and so. And I started with 1 class a week on a Tuesday morning. It was a kickboxing class. We had bags and we wore gloves. Nothing like turbo kick whatsoever, but that's where I started. And about 3 months after I had been teaching, I very vividly remember waking up and going, oh, this is the thing that I was supposed to be doing with my life all along. I was supposed to be teaching fitness. This is awesome. I love it. But I still didn't know anything other than teaching at the YMCA. And I was teaching a kickboxing class at the YMCA. So I went to my very first fitness conference called IDEA in Chicago. It was the very first session, 7:30 a.m., on the very first day, Friday, of my very first fitness conference, and I had just signed up for the session because it had the word kick in it, and I was teaching kickboxing, and the whole phrase was turbo kick. I had never heard of it. I didn't know anything about it, but because it had kick in it, I signed up for it. And about 7:20, we were in this huge ballroom. The doors opened to the side, and everyone looked, and in walked this teeny tiny blonde in the coolest workout clothes that I'd ever seen. And I thought, well, she has to be the trainer. She has to be the person. And she was. And 10 minutes into that session, that workout, I looked at the group exercise director who was with me and said, we must have this at our Y, and I have to teach it. And so we did. I got Turbo Kick certified. I started teaching it. And it was, my soulmate workout at the time. It was this perfect marriage of choreography and music and movement, all that went together. And I started to understand that there was a bigger picture in fitness. So you can start to see my journey a little bit, and it probably relates to you, whether it's fitness or not. You step in a little bit, and then you step in a little bit more. And as you continue to take those steps, the view widens and widens and widens. And so now I'm at a fitness conference and I can see all these other people who love it like I do. And now I find Turbo Kick, and now there's this Turbo Kick culture. And now I get an email that says, we're interviewing for master trainers. I printed it off. I carried it around in my backpack for a while until my husband finally said, what are you doing? Why don't you just send it in? What do you have to lose? So I did, and was blessed with the opportunity to go out to California, interview to become a master trainer, and started with Turbo Kick and PiYo. And for those of you that have done or are doing the PiYo home workout, PiYo's been around for a long time. I know for a lot of folks, it's like it's like this overnight success. No, PiYo's been around for a while, and I have PiYo lesson 1 on VHS tape somewhere in my house. And it's very, very different than the PiYo that you're working out to now. Yay, because it was very static and very yoga-like, and it's definitely undergone an evolution, as the business has, as the network has, as we all do as we get older. This format has gone through an evolution as well. But that's what I started with, Turbo Kick and PiYo, and I started presenting those formats for Shalene. And when it came time to sign up as a Beachbody coach, that came from Shalene, because Beachbody had come to her and wanted to take Turbo Kick and this amazing culture with Turbo Kick and create something for the home workout demographic. Thus, Turbo Jam was born. Shalene began her affiliation with Beachbody. She knew there was a network marketing opportunity. She knew there was something out there. So she watched it for quite a while. When she came to us, her master trainers, it was one conversation again. She called me. I remember talking to her on the phone, and she said, they've got this opportunity. It's what we're doing already, just on a bigger platform. I think it will allow you to make a little money, because, fitness instructors don't make, if you think high school English teachers don't make any money, fitness instructors don't make any money either. I'll tell you exactly what I make at the Y. because I teach at a Y still now. I teach on Mondays, Thursdays, and Fridays at the YMCA here in Carmel, Indiana. I make $11 an hour like everybody else. But I teach the Y because I love the Y. It's where I started. I will always teach there. But nobody goes into fitness to make $1 million. No one does. You go into fitness just like you go into high school teaching or coaching because it's rewarding in so many other ways. But Shalene said, I think this network marketing opportunity attached to Beachbody could allow you to do what you're doing on a bigger scale. So again, keep stepping. The view broadens. I think you can do this on a bigger scale. I think you might be able to make some money at it. I think you should do it. One conversation. Now this time, this conversation was with someone with whom I had a deeper relationship and deeper trust. Mary, who sat next to me on that blue bench, we'd known each other for only a few months. I liked her a lot, but I didn't have a real relationship with her. So that was kind of pivotal that someone would see something in me and suggest that I teach. Now, I don't know how deep it was, or if she just needed another instructor on her roster. I don't know, and I don't care because it changed my life. But for Shalene to say, I think that you should become a coach because this opportunity really allows you all as master trainers to do what you do on a bigger scale. That was one conversation with someone that I trusted, and I said yes. Of course I'll become a Beachbody coach. I had no idea what I was doing. Absolutely no idea what I was doing, but I trusted the person who suggested it to me, and I joined. And for 8 months, the first 8 months, I did zero with the business, zero. So if anyone is on this call that's been a coach for 8 months or less, and you are Emerald, Diamond, hitting Success Club, doing anything, you have already done more than I ever did in the first 8 months of this business. I had no idea what this business was, what it could do, or how it could change my life. All I knew was if I could make a little bit of money, I might be able to pay for the horrible Nike Shocks that I was wearing in my Turbo Kick class and buy the music that I was using in my group exercise classes I was teaching, that I might be able to contribute to our family's budget in that way. I knew I wanted to wear Nike Shocks. I knew I was going to buy music. If I could create a little bit of income to do that, then shoot, that was gold. That's all I needed. And so I took some steps into coaching. And again, the view broadened. Again, the view got bigger. It got bigger. And I started to see more of what could be done. And I started to share this opportunity. And the very first coach that I enrolled on my team is still a coach on my team today. She's been with me since the beginning. We started to grow this team in Indiana, and I think that I was the first Beachbody coach in Indiana. We were the first superstar team in Indiana. We were the first elite team in Indiana. So we kind of put some stakes down and said, we're going to grow this thing in this state. We have really deep ties to Indiana. Even though it's not my hometown, my home state, I feel very much like it's home now. And we really put some stakes down. So we're going to put Indiana on the map. And so that's what we started to do. We started to grow this business from ground zero, from nothing. Not a great coach online office, no Shakeology, no nothing. Any event that we went to, we traveled to, we road tripped to, we went to, there was none of this, well, why isn't the event like 30 minutes from my house? Because it's not. We got to drive 3 hours, and that's what we did. And we got in the car and we drove, and we shared hotel rooms, and that's what we did. And I think that definitely made our team stronger because of those ties, and really, we truly feel like we've built this thing together. But we got to a point where, when I say we, at this point, really, it's me. We got to a point where I was a 9-star diamond coach, and that's how I said it in my head. I am a 9-star diamond coach. Why can't I get any better, any higher, any more? Why can't I? And that's exactly the way you should never be thinking, which I learned is kind of part of the evolution. Just like PiYo evolved from VHS lesson 1 to where we are now today, around 45. I had to do some serious evolving as well, because the team can only grow as much as we are willing to grow. And if you were a coach a year ago at this time, and you are in the very same place in your business, and the same place can mean a myriad of things. It might mean rank, it might mean something else, but if you're in the same place in your business that you were at this time on May 17th, 2015, if you're in the very same place in your business that you were a year ago, it's on you. That's on you. And that might sound harsh, but it's not. I think it's a blessing, because if it's on us, that means we are the ones in control and we are the ones that can change it. There's a lot of stuff in our life that is out of our control, and one of the sayings that we say on our team is control the controllable. Control the controllable. You can't always control if someone's going to be an Emerald coach, if they're going to cancel their Shakeology. So you have to look at what you can control. What can I control? I can control if I push play every day and share that with my team. I can control if I'm drinking a shake every day and making sure that I'm sharing that with my team. I can control if I'm reading a good book that's going to make me a better person in some way and share that with my team. I can control the amount of conversations that I have. I can control what goes on inside me. And then I can share that, and by example, hopefully lead my team in a better way. That's what I can control. I can't control if someone wants to work the business or not. I can't control if they have amazing potential and do nothing with it. I can't control if they cancel their Shakeology because they're dumb. Can I say that? Sorry, I just did. That's just dumb. Why would you cancel? I don't know. I can't control that. I can control me. I can control what I do, and I can control how much I share that with my team and how much I inspire or aspire to inspire and educate my team on step by step by step. The vision gets bigger. Vision gets bigger because that's what happened with me. So I have to share that with them, and that's what I can control. When I figured that out, when I started to understand that the reason why my team was a 9-star diamond team, why I was a 9-star diamond coach, was because of me and my lack of growth, then I knew I had to get to work a little more seriously on me. So I cultivated a couple mentors. I asked some people if they would help me out and be a mentor, and I gave them permission to ask me some questions throughout kind of our mentorship, and that person is still in my life, still asking me questions, and the questions sometimes are uncomfortable. Sometimes they make me cry. Sometimes I don't know the answer to them. And that's part of the evolution. That's part of the process. That's part of becoming a better leader. It's becoming a better leader is figuring out some of that stuff and then sharing with your team how you're figuring it out. It's not having all the answers. And that was definitely a hindrance to me earlier. I thought I had to know everything. So I didn't always share stuff with my team because I thought, oh my gosh, if they ask me a question I don't know the answer to, what kind of leader is that? Well, that's the kind of leader that's human and normal because we don't all know the answers to everything. That's why we have an unbelievable Coach Online office and Google, because between those two, we can probably find the answer to it. We don't have to know the answer to it. And it's interesting because as a high school teacher, my students would often find it empowering if they would ask me a question sometimes, and I would go, I don't know the answer to that. Let's find out together. And we would find out. And so why I didn't make that transference into my Beachbody business, I don't know. Probably because I'd never owned a business before, ever. Many of us come into this and we've never owned a business before. So we think we're supposed to know all the answers, but how can we ever know all the answers to anything? I tell people when you come to my Facebook page or you get to know me, there's really 3 pieces of me that I know. I know my family, I know fitness, and I know Disney. And that's about what I know. Anything else, I don't know a lot about anything else, and I'm okay with telling you that I don't know a lot about anything else. So I knew I had to do some hard work on me. I just wasn't sure where to start. That's where the mentors came in, and through lots of conversations, I started to understand that any growth on my team was going to happen with me. And when I put my blinders on and stopped looking around at what other people were doing and stopped comparing myself, which is a huge, and I don't like to use a weakness, so I'll use area of opportunity for myself. I really struggle with comparison. I struggle with it all the time, every day, even now, 8 years in the business. Every day I struggle with that. And it can be I think part of it has to do with being in the fitness industry and we stand in front of a mirror in black spandex pants all the time. That might have something to do with comparing yourself to other people, both in your classroom, other master trainers, but it's certainly a battle that I fight as a Beachbody coach. And it's something that I have to really, really be aware of, be cognizant of, and keep, I can be inspired by, but the minute I start to get defeated by, I have to be aware of that and stop that. So I put my blinders on. I would have these conversations with my mentor. I did some really pivotal reading and work kind of in my own head, and I put my blinders on and I pressed play every day. I drank a shake, I read a book, and I started sharing that more with my team. And it changed us. It changed us because I was changing So the team changed, and the people that I recruited on my team changed, and we started to grow more together. And on April 15th, which was the 15th week of the year in 2015, we became a 15-star diamond team. And I don't think that that's coincidence. I think that our journey took that long because it was supposed to take that long. I think our journey took that long because they were waiting on me to get better. And it took me a while to figure that out, and it took me a while to get better. So while there is a lot of benefit in creating early momentum, because momentum is huge. You know, anyone who's ever been a runner, run a half marathon, a marathon, knows you don't stop at the water station and chug your water and hang out it, because you cannot get going again. You might walk that water station while you're drinking, and then you keep going, because if you stop, you lose momentum, and it is so hard to get going again. So I think there's huge benefit in not a fast start, but, you know, a nice start out of the gate, creating some momentum and continuing to capitalize on that momentum. But there's real value in being a lifer. There's real value in seeing the long play and building a strong foundation, because I'm not going anywhere. This is me. I'm in this. I'm a lifer. I am in this. So whether we hit 15-star in 7 months or 7 years, it was going to happen. How long it happened really depended on me, and if I was going to do the work to get better, because that's the only way my team was going to get better. So we find ourselves now, you know, and I say we, but also me, in a different space in my leadership, because we hit this big goal, and now what do we do? And we've set some new goals. But leadership changes and leadership evolves as your team grows and your business grows and your business evolves. It's definitely not so much about, you know, me per se, you know, probably even less than it was before. Now it's, how can I help my coaches become 2-star, 5-star, 10-star? How many elite coaches and premier coaches can I help develop on my team? How many new coaches can I help find that momentum right out of the gate? Whether that affects my rank or not, okay, you know, yay or nay, it doesn't matter. But I want to help people on my team find the success that we've been able to create as a team. I want them to create that with their own teams as well. Because again, while making money might not be the primary focus, if I can help my coaches help their families by helping others, what better job is there? What better job is there? If I can give my coaches peace of mind that they can get to the end of the month, they can pay for their kids' ballet lessons, they can take a family vacation that they haven't been able to do in 5 years. If I can help my coaches do that, what better job is there? What better job is there? If that affects my rank or my, okay, yay, great, whatever, but that's not the primary focus. The focus has shifted now, and it's an interesting shift because sometimes it's not exactly what Beachbody recognizes you for, but you also have to come to grips a little bit with that as well. While we might not be the #1 team in the network, we have a lot of growth going on our team that is happening almost underground, and these leaders are starting to come up, and we have these strong foundations and these coaches that are lifers and that are building teams of their own and helping their coaches achieve their goals. And that's what it's about. That's what it's about. And has it taken us, yes, 8 years to get to this point now too? Yeah, it sure has. Does some of that have to do with maybe because we didn't have Shakeology and a good coach online office when I started? Maybe. That was the learning curve. It doesn't matter. It doesn't matter necessarily how long the journey takes. I think what matters more is that this business can and will change your life if you let it. If you push play, drink a shake, read a book, and have conversations. If you get over yourself enough and let go of the fear, and remember, they're just conversations. They're just conversations. Just like Mary had with me on the blue bench, if I would have said no, she would have gone on to the next person. If I would have said no to Shalene, she would have gone on to the next person. No harm, no foul. They just would have gone on. And that's what we have to do. We have to have so many conversations that when the folks say no, we just go on, because people are out there that need what we have. They need a fitness solution. They need a nutrition solution. They need a community solution. They need to be surrounded by a tribe of people who support them. They need a financial solution. We offer it all, and they need what we have. But the only way we find out is if we have conversations that are authentic and genuine and simple. I think you'd be great on my team. I'd love for you to join me. Done. And stop thinking about it so much. Scripts are great. Scripts are scripts. Just be you. Just tell them that you want them on your team. Open up your heart to what this business can do. Continually to take the steps. Let the view continue to broaden. Because I guarantee you that 8 years ago, I never would have thought that we'd be in the position that we're in with this team, how big our team is, personally, I never would have thought that. 8 years ago, we couldn't pay our bills. In December of this year, I took my family on a Disney cruise. Because we could. And it was awesome. And we spent 3 days at the park and 7 days on the ship, and it was 10. We were gone for 10 days. And it was awesome. And I had it paid off before we even stepped foot on that ship. So money is awesome. It's not the focus of what we do, but to create that memory for my family, to have that memory with my family that we never would have had without this business. That's why I get up every morning, so that I can do that kind of stuff, so I can create those experiences for them. Because as important as my challengers and my team are to me, the people who live in this house are the most important. And if I can't provide for them and create experiences for them, it doesn't matter what kind of amazing experience I'm providing for my team. I got to provide for this team in this house first. So I do them first. And I get to do that by sharing what we have that works, by building a team that does the same for them, by having conversations, by reading a book, by drinking a shake, by pressing play. It is that simple. Put your blinders on. Don't worry about a website, a graphic, a blah, 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 blah. Press play, drink a shake, read a book, and have conversations. I guarantee if you do that, if you teach your team to do that, you will create a life that is beyond, and you will look around and go, I have this life because of fitness. This is unbelievable. It's unbelievable. And you will wake up every morning going, oh, this is what I was supposed to be doing with my life all along. Oh, this. That's how you'll wake up. And that is what everyone out there is searching for. And you can have it. It's right here in your hands. Just keep taking the steps. Christy, do you want me to do some questions? You're muted, girl. You're still muted.
Yes, I'm gonna open it up for questions. I'm gonna unmute everyone, and I'm gonna stop the recording right now. Thank you so much. I took lots of great notes, and it was a wonderful call. Thank you.
You're welcome. You're welcome. Who's got questions?